The first screen you will see when you log into Pinnacle Professional will be the Control Center. The Control Center is your home screen and keeps track of what parts have been quoted, what parts are work ordered, whether they're ready to go or not in that work order process, as well as what's been invoiced. There are many control centers that can be added on to this home screen. This can be user specific and will help each individual user control their tasks throughout the day. Your control center may look very different than other employees in your yard for the purpose of specifically keeping track of your individual tasks so that there will not be crossover and confusion with other people's tasks. So on my control center, I've set it up as an average salesperson. I have my quotes in the upper right hand corner. As we move down, I have my open work orders. These are parts that are still being worked on. Work orders ready to invoice are parts that are ready to go out. They're just waiting for the customer to pick them up or to be invoiced to go out on our delivery truck. Below that, we have today's invoices and credits, which is where I can keep track of the parts that have been invoiced, which means they've been picked up by the customer or they have been sent out for delivery. In the upper left-hand corner, I have my RMAs. RMA stands for Return Merchandise Authorization. It's a way to request a credit of a part and keep track of when the part comes back so it can be credited back to your customer. Orders and resolution is communications with my parts pullers. So if something has gone wrong with a part, maybe they weren't able to find a replacement through the alternate items, they can let me know and I can notify my customer or broker it, any task that I need to take care of that. Below that, we have our open purchase orders. This will keep track of parts that I'm waiting to come in. Make sure they come in at a reasonable time, or I can call my vendor to let them know that it has not come in yet. The next thing that we'll be doing is going ahead and looking up a part. In the upper left-hand corner, we have our sales menu. The first option under sales is find parts. We also see that Control-Alt-P as in Paul is our hotkey. So from anywhere in Pinnacle, if I hold down the Control key, the Alt key, and the letter P as in Paul, then I will be able to bring up my Find Parts screen. Clicking with the mouse works just as well. My Find Parts screen here has a lot of ways that you can look up parts in our system. The first way would be clicking through on the start year, the end year, the model of the vehicle, and then through my part category and specific part. The fastest way is going to be down on the command line. So using this tool, I can actually just type in the 2-digit year of the vehicle I'm looking for, space. As I start typing the model, it'll start filtering down and I can see at the bottom of my screen what model the system thinks that I'm looking for. As soon as I see the model that is correct, I don't have to type the rest of the model. In this case, for a Ford Taurus, typing in TAU was plenty for finding the Ford Taurus. I did have to type the U because we'll notice once I take the U out, it is at a Toyota Tacoma, which is obviously a very different model. So as I look for my Taurus, the next thing is going to be my part code. There's two options on part codes. Most commonly will be the Pinnacle part code being 2 letters. Those letters come from my parts list above my command line. So on the very left hand side is going to be my category of parts. In this case, I'm going to look for an engine, which is letter A. I can see that in front of my engine. Now, as soon as I pick my category, I will have all the parts underneath that category. In the engine category, I have the engine itself, cylinder head, distributor, turbo supercharger, flywheel flex plate, and so on. This allows me to go ahead and pick the specific part I'm looking for. So as an engine, I know that it's another letter A. So AA will always be my engine part type. AB would be my cylinder head, AC my distributor, so on and so forth. The last thing I need is the interchange option. So on the 04 Taurus, they were all 3-liter engines, but the VIN2 option has some separate criteria for the Vulcan flex fuel. The VIN-S option, again on the 8th digit, has the dual overhead cam, while the VIN-U is again the Vulcan gasoline. So these are very different engines that I'll be selecting from. I'm going to go ahead on this one and I'm going to pick the gasoline model. I notice this is on line number 2 here. This is the sequence number column that I'm talking about. So number 2 on the keyboard will actually select that model. Now I can also do it with the mouse by checking the box with the mouse, but if we want to go as fast as possible, staying on the keyboard in this command line will keep things moving quickly. After I've selected the part that I want to look up, I can either click search in the lower right hand corner, or I can also hit enter on my keyboard. I'm going to do that now, and it will go ahead and look up my part. When I hit enter on the keyboard, it brings up what we call the search results screen. This is where I get feedback of what parts I have in stock. I have a lot of these Taurus engines, and they're all coming up on white on these individual lines. Now as I scroll down, I will see this yellow color. Yellow means it's a non-exact interchange, so these are very similar to the exact interchange, but I will probably need to make some modifications to get them to work. In this case, the interchange notes down in the middle tell me that the difference is the intake manifold. So if the customer would like to take off their old intake and put it onto this engine on the yellow, then it will be the same engine and fit properly. The parts in green are parts at other yards. This is what I'll be using to broker parts or order them in. So I know where they're going to be coming from based off of the location. I'll be able to see my vendor part comments. And if I see binoculars here for my own parts or for the parts in green, that means there are pictures attached, and that will allow me to go ahead and click on those binoculars, and I can see the pictures of the vehicle. In turn, this also means that my partner yards, other Pinnacle yards, can see our pictures as well. On this search results screen, I'm going to go left to right on these columns to verify what these are telling you. So I can see the SEQ number is actually just a quick number on the keyboard. So if it's the first 10 parts and I wanted to sell one of those, I can just type that number on the keyboard and it will go ahead and select that part to sell. The X column, this is the important one. The goal is to check the box of the part I want to sell. Just highlighting so that it's got the bold outline around it is not going to be enough. I need to check the box if I want to sell it or quote it. The description is the part. We put that on here for a multiple part lookup, which we will go over in a future class. I have the actual price of the part, the model of the vehicle, the year of the vehicle. DAM stands for damage, and this would be for body parts, which is why it's empty right now. This is going to be given in hours of damage on those body parts. The condition is the condition of the part based off of an A, B, and C condition. A is above average, B is average, C is below average. Parts are auto-graded on these conditions based off of mileage for mechanical parts or hours of damage on body parts. Then I have my interchange number. The status of the part, we have 3 statuses in Pinnacle, U, Y, and W. The W, like we're seeing here, means that it's in the warehouse. So that means that it's been removed from the vehicle and put on a shelf for easy access. U stands for unbolted and means it's with the vehicle, but it's already been taken off, so it's probably in the back seat or the trunk. We see this commonly with alternators and distributors and seats at many yards. We have the age of the part, how long it's been in my yard, not how old it is, how long it's actually been physically located at my yard. The comments that are put in by your inventory specialists, the stock number of the vehicle, the location of the part. So when they're in white, that's going to be my physical rack location. When they are in green, that will be the name of the yard that I would be ordering them from. The color of the vehicle, more relevant on body parts, but will always show. Now I have the standard price. The standard price is the average price of the part, assuming that the part's in average condition. So this will give me an idea of if I'm seeing my actual price being higher or lower. There's probably a criteria that define that. Maybe it's a lower mileage, maybe it's got some damage to it, options like that. Images are going to be pictures. That's where I'm looking for those binoculars. This column here for resolution, this is going to be if there's any issues with the part, it will be filled in red with an R in there. And that means check the part before I sell it. And my last column is going to be my mileage. The ODO is your odometer, and it is given in thousands and rounded. So the part that I'm selected on right now is 62,000 miles. Back over on the left-hand side on the lower left, we do see a quote and invoice history. So this is important for salespeople. There is no reason to go to another screen to see if this part has been quoted. I will see it as soon as I look up parts in my search results screen here. Then my interchange notes are in the middle. And over on the right, I have yard information for brokered parts. And if I'm selected in a part in green, I will see their users that are on chat available to chat that user and order that part if needed. They are automatically sent a link when I chat them, so there's no reason to tell them what I'm looking for. Only ask how much on the price, maybe if I'm looking for a discount, or how long it will take them to get that part to me. So that is the Pinnacle Control Center and how to look up a part. And the next module, we will work on quoting parts.